Good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to day two of the Academic Excellence and Entrepreneurship Summit. Um, sure, we are all excited, and as we proceed, more people will be joining us. We've sent out the invite, and we expect them to be joining us very, very soon. So, yesterday was an amazing and inspiring session. We had Faidat talk to us about how we can build proper study habits. Joshua went ahead to tell us how to hack our minds so that we can produce excellent results consistently. Then Miracle ended the session with encouraging us to go into the fields of technology because technology is the present. It's not just the future, it's the present. And everything we are doing must be infused with technology. So, and today we'll be going deeper into the discussion as we'll be talking about making concrete impact in society, talking about how we can leverage our personality and our skills for personal and career growth and development. We'll also be looking more into the aspect of technology, how we can enhance our digital productivity. So I'm so excited about the caliber of the facilitators that we have here today. And I'm sure by the time we'll be finishing this summit, you'll be massively transformed. So thank you very much for being here once again. So at this juncture, I'll be bringing up the profile of our first facilitator before he comes on stage.
Of emerging leaders, entrepreneurs, and career professionals committed to the promotion of leadership and socio-economic development across Africa and currently have footprints in 14 countries with active membership across 27 countries. With over 10 years of experience across the private, non-governmental, and public sectors, Raymond has consulted and helped hundreds of individuals, NGOs, and corporate organizations to attain peak performance and strategic results. Raymond is currently leading a movement of disruptive thinkers, purposeful leaders, and accelerated problem solvers. He is the convener and host of the signature program, the Youth Spark Pan-African Conference, which has consistently held back-to-back for 5 years across different countries in Africa. Much more, he is a passionate leadership and in youth development enthusiast and believes there's so much capacity latent in every average young person on the streets. He is the author of Passion to Profit Mastery, which serves as a practical guide, tool, and resource for transforming ordinary individuals to become profitable brands. Now, with a great applause, let's welcome Raymond Okpani.
Wow. Hello, everyone. I am super excited to be finally here. Thank you so much for having me. Let me share my slide. But I honestly want to appreciate the great work that oh, fantastic. Thanks for sharing my slide. So I want to thank Israel and the entire team of the Academic Excellence and Entrepreneurship Summit for putting this together. This is so inspiring to do. I know it's a lot of work, and I want to thank you guys for going all the way out to get this thing done. Today, I'm going to be taking some time to share with a couple of us on a few things that might just help us to move to the next phase. Talking about positioning for a life of impact. And I have a few minutes to do this. I'm hoping that I'll be able to help quite a lot of you to take on the next phase of whatever thing you want to do in your life. So I want to thank you guys. Next slide, please. So my name is Raymond Okbane. People have come to know me for so many things because of the things that I do. But I kind of have three expressions. On the one side is the Youth Spark Pan-Africa, which quite a lot of people have come to know me about in different countries, in about 14 countries. I'm also a personal brand strategist. I help people in strategizing around their brand, and then I also run a platform, a company called Glosby Digitals. Today, I'm excited to be talking to everyone that is here. Just a sec. So next slide, please. So today, I want to start this class, my session by saying that there is really no difference in people except for, for the things that they know. People have come to say that knowledge is power, but there's also a lot of theory that is also saying that knowledge is not just power, but it is actually applied knowledge, that is power. So there is really no difference. And so I want to congratulate everyone that is part of this community. This is like you guys separating yourself from the crowd, from the noise, from the distractions, and trying to make yourself more valuable. I'm hoping that in the next 20-30 minutes, I'll be able to, sing in, help you to drive home some lessons that will prepare you for, for global dominance. Next slide. So in the new global economy, I want us to understand that there is a wave, right? There is a huge wave for territorial expansion in 2022, particularly, after the whole coronavirus happened and all that. So there is this wave, to dominate globally, and the universe is basically living rooms exclusively for people who are making themselves valuable enough to rule in the world. So you can see on the slide where people are actually taking territories and everybody is actually positioning themselves. And I'm going to talk more about that. Next slide. So while we are going to talk about, you see, in the new global economy, you will perpetually remain stagnant if all you are living for is to be very conventional. If you just want to live, sleep, wake up. And I understand that we are talking to a large community of fresh graduates or students or entrepreneurs, wherever you are. But I want to believe that these are people that are just emerging, people that are trying to find their feet, as far as global dominance is concerned. And we talk about global dominance because your competition is no longer the person that is, at the next door. It's no longer your neighbor. It's no longer the people in your village, so to say. Your competition is now the guy in China, the guy in Hong Kong, the small boy in America. Those are your competition. So we're going to be talking and preparing ourselves to launch out, to compete at that level, to dominate at that level, irrespective of where you are right now. So if you're thinking about just sleeping, waking up, going to school, reading, passing exams, getting a degree, getting married, and then giving birth to children, then I think you'll be very, very shooting yourself in the leg, because that's not really what the world is calling for. Next slide. So let me talk a little bit about, next slide. So I'm going to be talking about, I've been called to talk about global positioning for global, positioning for a life of impact. And I want to say that I am one person that actually have proven that it is possible to position, from a place where, irrespective of your background, your ethnicity, your qualification, your location, it is very possible for you to build from scratch, for you to to launch out from wherever you are and compete favorably at the global space. So I tell people very quickly, I started small. I started in a very, very small city. Most times people wonder, if I'm really born in the city of Aba. I was born and brought up in the industrial city of Aba in Abia State, Nigeria. And from there, I moved on. I stayed in Abakaliki at the time. And those of you who know Abakaliki will know that at the time, people thought that there was just nothing so inspiring about a place called a place called, Abakaliki at the time. And so that was actually from where I I rose up to do some of the things I'm going to talk with us today. And they are not theory. I'm going to tell you guys exactly the things that I did, that helped me. And in 2 years, I found myself in 9 countries. I built global reputation. And today I have a platform that have become a springboard for global market penetration, helping thousands of young people across 27 countries. And then, I'll also tell you guys exactly what I did to be able to get back to school. Now, some of you guys are very privileged, to be in school. Some of you guys have parents, people that, paid your school fees, people that can give you pocket money and all that. But again, if you don't have someone that is supporting you, it's okay, it's fine. But I want to tell you that it is possible for you to build yourself, to build a future for yourself where you can actually achieve all that, your environment couldn't give you, all that your parents couldn't give you, right? It is very possible to achieve that. And so I'm going to get it right into those points. I'm going to be talking about 8 key principles, 8 key pointers that helped me. And in 2 years, in the last, let's say in less than 5 years, helped me to build something that is, unprecedented. And this is also for you guys that as you're just stepping out from school as a fresh graduate, or you're an undergraduate, you need to understand that there are requirements for playing the global games right now. There are requirements, and the standards the bars keep getting raised every day, and you must be able to align to them. There is no other way. There are no shortcuts. So let me talk about those pointers that I have very quickly. Next slide. So I'm going to talk about 8 practical ways to help you position for a life of impact. And these are things that have really helped me. And the first point I'm going to talk about is to build values that reflect the future you desire for yourself. You see, if everybody have dreams, right? But you see, the problem is that most people they don't understand that the future has a language, the future has a terminology. You don't just appear in the future. And what future am I even talking about? I'm talking about right now. I have this saying that whatever you will be, you are already becoming, right? So whatever thing you want to be in the next 5 years, we can actually look at, we can actually decipher, we can actually project based on the kind of life you're living right now, based on your lifestyle right now, based on the things you do right now. And I'm going to talk about those things in a bit. So you have to build values that reflect the future you desire. What kind of future, what kind of life do you want to live in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years? What kind of person will you be, right? What will life be like for you? What do you expect life to be like for you in the next 5 years? But particularly about that, more important to that is that what kind of person do you want to be by that time? Okay. By the time you ask yourself what you want life to be for you, where would you want to be in the next 5, 10 years? You also want to ask yourself, what kind of person do you want to be by that time? And that's actually where you start building values. So you want to start building values around, start becoming a credible person. It means that people can trust you. It means that people can see you as someone they can do business with. You are an integrous person. You have to start building those values that reflect where, you are going. Next slide. So the next thing I want to say is that the second point you're going to do, very critical, is that you have to reconfigure your social identity. When talking about positioning for a life of impact, it simply means that there are a lot of other people that are in the picture. There are a lot of other people that are in the picture. So many people. I mean, what will you do when there are 1,000 other persons who are aiming for the same thing that you're doing? That's actually what we're trying to break down here. When we have a lot of people who are also aspiring for the same thing you are aspiring for. So we're trying to find we're trying to find one thing that would distinguish you, right? To be able to stay ahead of the pack, to stay ahead of the crowd. And one of the second point is you have to reconfigure your social identity. You have to build your personal brand. And when I teach people about personal brand, it's really not a very complex thing. It's really about engineering what you want people to think, to feel, and say about you, even when you are not in the room. You see, what people think and say about you is not their fault. I say that again. What people feel and think and say about you, it's not their fault. It is your fault, because you have the ability to decide what you want people to think and say about you by building a very quality and solid personal brand. You have to decipher, in a way you talk, and your brand is really about your reputation. What are people saying about you, even when you are not there, right? So, I mean, it all covers what you say, how you express yourself, what's your expression like, how do you dress, how do you compose yourself, what is your attitude like, what's your relationship with people. Those are the things that are going to constitute how people see you, because at the end of the day, you see, your relationship is going to matter so much more than your importance in the long, more than your skill in the long run. You see, your relationship is going to pay you so much more than your skill in the long run, right? So you have to be very deliberate as you are stepping out of school. What are people saying about you? If people put on your name on Google, what is it saying about you? Okay, because at the end of the day, whether you say it's important or not, it's either you brand yourself or you will be branded. These two things have their consequences. If you brand yourself, you make yourself you stay ahead of the pack. That means you decide what you want people to say about you. You decide how you want people to feel about you. You decide the kind of opportunities you want people to bring your path. Even as a student, trust me, this is not about your age, it's not about your location, it's not about where you are. It's really about where you are going and how you want to get there. That's what that. But if perhaps you are unfortunate enough to be branded, if people brand you, then it becomes a problem, because you won't be there when people brand you, right? You will be there to brand yourself, but you're not going to be there when you are branded, because whatever people think and say about you, that's exactly how you're going to attract opportunities that you're going to need. Next slide. So let me talk about the third point. This third point I'm going to talk about is you have to teach what you know. You see, in trying to position for a life of impact, first thing is that you have to be known for something. You have to ask yourself, what kind of life, what do you want to be known for? But more importantly about what you want to be known for, and learning and getting known for those things, you have to be willing and able to teach other people what you know, right? You have to be able to teach other people what you know. Very, very important. And everybody who cares to know, once you learn a skill, once you have knowledge, whatever thing you know, remember you are trying to position. You're not trying to make money now. You're not trying to make money. You're trying to position yourself as someone people would want to connect with, as someone people want to deal with. And the first thing you have to do is you have to start teaching what you know. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be an excellent teacher. Just make sure you tell someone whatever thing that you know. That's the third point, way of positioning yourself for a life of impact and influence. The fourth point, please. So the next point is you must be able to detoxify yourself regularly. You must engage in regular detoxification. And it's very, very clear. You have to start minding the kind of content you post, you engage with on social media. This is very critical, because people want to deal with people that are like them. People want to deal with people that are, the world, not just people. The universe is going to relate with you based on the frequency you are activating. Do you understand what I'm saying? Based on your thoughts, based on where your thought is flowing. I read, I think it was Ejiro that I read that who made a post, and she said that energy goes where I think energy goes where attention flows, something like that. So it simply means that wherever you start giving your attention, whatever you start connecting yourself to, that's exactly the kind of opportunities, exactly the kind of things you're going to allow the universe to attract to you. So you want to mind the kind of content you post on social media and also share. You must not comment. The second point is that you must not comment, argue, or try to prove points on every post online. It is not compulsory, guys. You must not post. Your hand must not be scratching you to type all the time, right? There are some things you should see, and you are proud and bold enough to just walk out. You are proud and bold enough to just walk out, right? You must not comment on everything. So the third point is you have to unfollow or unfriend if you have to. Use your unfollow button, use your unfriend button. Remember, we're trying to detoxify. You're trying to position yourself for something bigger, because at the end of the day, you want to stay ahead. You can't really influence if you are in the middle of the pack. You have to be able to separate yourself before you can, influence the crowd. Next slide, please. So the fifth point I'm going to talk about is you must be able to get into the right association. Very, very critical. You must be able to get into the right association, because at the end of the day, it's really about, the kind of association. That's the one of the fastest way to skyrocket your growth. When I tell people about being part of the right association, it's they think it's something that is very difficult. It's not really very difficult to be part of the right association, because there are two ways you can actually connect yourself to part of the right association. One of them is that you have to become part of a platform. Find a platform that you can be part of. Find people that you want to connect with, right? It doesn't matter whether you have to pay for those platforms, whether you have to pay to gain access to people. And I'm going to talk about that much later. You see, let me tell you guys, association is so powerful that it is one thing that has the ability to influence every other thing in your life. And you must be willing to pay whatever it takes to get into the right association. I will pay my last kobo. I will pay my last dollar just to get into the midst of right people, right? And the second point you may need to do, you need to build a platform. But for you to build a platform, like to build an organization, host a conference, do all those things, you have to become part of one. You have to learn. You have to, become part of something that is great for you to start positioning yourself, because those are people that are going to bring opportunities, to you. Next slide, please. And so I'm going to talk about the next thing. Remember, I just finished talking about, getting into the right association. The next thing I want to say is you must be willing to volunteer. In trying to position yourself as a person of, position yourself for a life of impact and influence in 2022, this must happen. You see, when I started working, people look at my organization today, they think about Youth Spark Pan Africa today, and I spent 6 years volunteering. I volunteered for an organization for 6 solid years. And what was the consequence of that? It's, first of all, I gained a lot of access to so many places that I probably wouldn't have even connected with and all those things, right? I gained access to those places because we don't understand that volunteering, let me tell you guys, you see, volunteering is the fastest way to climb or fast track your progress. Like if you want to succeed very fast, right? If you want to succeed very fast, find out something that is in line with the kind of future, the dreams you want to live, and put in your skill there. Remember, I told you guys, what do you want to be known for? I told you guys earlier, teach what you know. But a time has to come in trying to get into the right network that will foster your growth and development. You have to volunteer. You have to be able to become part of something great. I did that for 6 years. I volunteered for 6 years. And that was when I got the opportunity to serve as a personal aide to Dr. Miles Monroe of blessed memory. And it was one of the best things that happened to me, to be able to stay with a man that could control and talk to nations, who nations could, practically beg to come. Serving as his aide, what brought that? It was volunteering. You see, another thing that happens when you volunteer is that you get to accumulate massive knowledge, from the experiences of other people. Most people think that when they are volunteering, you are actually doing another person a favor. Trust me, you are not doing another person a favor. You are actually gaining two things: access and experience. You are gaining access and experience. So if you have any skill, if you have any fantastic program, you have to volunteer. If you have to volunteer, just volunteer. There is no other way. There are no shortcuts to success, guys. Trust me, people that have tried to follow shortcuts to success have always, often ended up, biting their own fingers, right? Next slide, please. And so while you're trying to volunteer, the next thing I want to talk about is seeking mentorship. And let me say this, most times it's always a cliche when people talk about, you have people talking about mentorship. But let me shock you guys. You see, don't always ask to be mentored. As much as mentorship is powerful, as much of mentorship is key, I have my mentors. I have mentors in different areas of my life. But I have never for one day gone to one person to say, please, I want you to mentor me. You know why? Because mentorship will always find its way when you commit to adding value to someone you desire their mentorship relationship, right? Don't always ask people to be mentored. Have you ever noticed that each time you ask someone to mentor you, the answer is always no? And is either they laugh at you or they just find a way to wave it out. Nobody has ever, you say, please, I want you to mentor me. And they'll not be like, yes, I will mentor you. Let us start today. It doesn't work. And so while seeking, these are two powerful keys. Do not ask to be mentored. You will always get a no. Secondly, is that mentorship will always find its way. So the key point is that you have to find a way to add value. Discover the people you want to be in their space. Find out the people you want to be in their circle, and add a lot of value. Find out their areas of their needs. Find out their pain point. Find out what they are working on, and greatly support that area. And suddenly, mentorship is going to find its way. You suddenly find out that you are learning from this person. This person is beginning to ask you questions. It's beginning to guide you, guide you in the areas of your dreams. And that is actually how it happened. But for mentorship is very key. Next slide, please. Now let me talk about the last thing just before I round off, because I understand that I just have maybe just very few minutes to just tidy up. This is very key. The seventh point I'm going to ask before the last point is you must travel for exposure. Very, 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 very key. You must travel for exposure. This is the 8th point. I think so. You must travel for exposure. Exposure. It was in 2017 when I realized that, for you to be able to, operate at a very high level, especially if you're in Nigeria. There are a lot of people in Nigeria, over 200 million people, right? And out of all these people that, you have, you must find a way to stay ahead of the pack. And one of the best ways that I use to skyrocket my growth, reposition myself, right? Reposition myself for dominance, for global dominance, for influence, and making a lot of impact across 27 countries, was that I started traveling. And some people think that there are two mindsets about traveling. Let me say this. You see, traveling is an advanced form of education. Write this down. Traveling is an advanced form of education. It doesn't matter the kind of school that you are going to. If you find yourself, you went to primary school in Lagos State, went to secondary school in Lagos State, went to university in Lagos State, did your NYSC in Lagos State, doing your masters in Lagos State, trust me, you are going to be so limited. You're going to have a very microscopic view about the world, unlike someone who just did only, who did primary school in Abia State, did secondary school in perhaps in Abuja, and then is doing their masters in London. So you're going to have a microscopic view about the world. So you must be willing to travel. Trust me, I said, there are new requirements for dominating globally, and it's no longer just staying inside your room and saying you want to dominate. You want to be able to get there. Trust me, there are some experiences you cannot find on Google. There are some experiences you cannot find on social media. You must be willing to get there in person. You must be willing to get there in person for you to connect to the right kind of persons, for you to be able to connect to the right kind of energy flow, for you to connect to the right kind of frequency that will bet your preparation and for global dominance. And let me also just drop these 2 points. First of all, is that you have to get a passport. See, trust me, if you're a fresh graduate and you're listening to me, or you're an undergraduate, I don't see any reason why you cannot save money from shawarma money, ice cream money, Coke money, whatever thing it is that you always spend your money on. I don't see why you can't save that money just to get yourself a passport, right? You must be willing to get yourself a passport, because if you want to position for global dominance, if you want to be developed as a Nigerian student for global dominance, then you must have a passport. That is the first evidence that you are ready for global dominance. I mean, when people talk to me about, they want to go global, they want to travel, they want to do all those things, I want to find out first, and you have a passport. If you don't have a passport, I know you are not serious. If you are not working to get a passport, I know you are not serious. If you cannot even save money to get a passport, I know you are not serious. Because at the end of the day, you just cannot, dominate globally right inside your room. No way. You must be able to go there in person to be able to dominate. And that was also why I wrote an ebook about traveling globally. So I have an ebook that talks about traveling in the new global economy. Trust me, I've traveled to, I'm currently in Cyprus. I live in Cyprus. I'm studying here. And I've been to 14 countries. And I can tell you that there are things to do when you travel. There is a mindset to traveling. There's a way you can travel and you get the best experience out of your traveling. And that's exactly why I actually, put together all my experiences traveling around this country in an ebook called Traveling in the New Global Economy, What You Must Know. In case you want that book, it's somewhere on my Instagram the bio or my link on Instagram, but you can just get that and then see how this can actually help you to get into the next phase of your life, guys. So I want to believe that this has been very, 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 very fruitful to us. Thank you so much, Israel, for making this making this opportunity here, setting up the platform. But let me say the last thing before I go. Let me just get the next slide. But guys, if you're a fresh graduate, if you're an undergraduate, you want to go and get yourself a passport, you must be willing to travel. And let me also say this about traveling. Now, it's not really that you must travel abroad, guys. Let's also be very clear about this. When I was in Nigeria, like I've been to about 28 out of the 36 states in Nigeria. I've been to 28 states out of the 36 out of the 36 states in Nigeria. And I can tell you that I have a very broad experience. I have a very broad, robust experience in terms of engaging with people. And I have a different view about how things work for me and in my industry, because I've been able to interact with quite a lot of people. And that's really why I don't think and talk and argue the way an average person do, because I've been able to see a lot of people and how they, interact and do and engage in their activities. And my last word is going to be this. This helped me. I learned this from a mentor at the lowest point of my life. And I'm going to say this. This is going to make a lot of sense to a lot of people if you apply this. I kept this for the last so that this might just be the beginning of somebody here, maybe in the next couple of years, when you remember that I said something like this, right? Okay, someone, all right. So if you want to get my book, just go to my Instagram. Just go to my Instagram bio and okay, someone is asking for that. I might just send. Let me just drop it with you. So if you want to get that, just go to. Okay, I think I can get it for you guys. But let me say this: learn this. Learn how to take care of small things, and you will open up your mind to think and apply big things. You see, this thing made a lot of sense to me. Because if you learn how to take care of small things in your life will be completely very different. And let me give you guys practical example. When I learned this, how do I say this right now so that it can help someone? Do you know that most times what actually limits you from taking big steps are not big problems? They are small problems. Now, as a student, let me get practical. You see the person you are owing, maybe you're owing somebody 100 naira or 200 naira. The person you are owing 1 million is not going to give you problem more than the person that you are owing 500 naira. And so you find out that perhaps you are owing someone. I'm getting practical here. So you are owing someone maybe 500 naira. You are owing one woman, maybe you bought bread or you bought something down the street. And then this woman, every time, because you have not paid, so you have to keep hiding. You want to come down from your house, you have to hide because you are owing someone. You don't want them to ask you questions and all those things. Just a sec. So you must have to learn how to take care of small things in your life. And when I say small things, let me tell you, you have to learn how to take care of your rent. You must be able to take care of your basic food. And it doesn't mean that you have to buy everything. Back in the days, because poverty is a mentality, right? Poverty is a mindset. So I used to buy things little by little, little by little. But let me give you guys a hack to thinking big. Give you guys a hack to thinking big. Take some money, right? Take some money and buy things in bulk. Buy things in bulk, small. If you use egg, buy small egg, buy small rice, buy small tomatoes, buy this, buy all those things. And I'm saying this because I want to get practical. Keep these things at home, and you find out that you suddenly change your feeling and you start engineering a feeling of abundance around you, such that you are not thinking about outside. Reduce the rate at which you eat out and start buying more things to keep inside, right? Start buying more things. Buy your groceries, buy all those things to keep inside. Cook more food in the house. I'm teaching you how to take care of small things. Reduce the rate at which you owe people, like your debt rates, reduce it, pay your rent, do all those things. And you suddenly find out you're beginning to think so big. all the things, make a list of all the little things that used to give you problem. All the things that each time you remember them, your heart skips. Write them out and start sorting them out. And when you have been able to do this, you suddenly find out that your mind is no longer occupied with those little things, and you can really start thinking about the things that really matter. Thank you so much, everyone. I want to believe that you've gotten some value within the few period I have to share with you guys. You can follow me on Instagram at Raymond Okwane, and then you can always engage and see how we can add more value to yourself. I don't know if anybody has any question. I'm happy to take your question.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. We really enjoyed your show. I'm sure that everyone enjoyed your speech. Sorry, can everyone hear me? Can you hear me, sir? Oh wow. I think my network is.
So I'd like to take a question. If I have some questions, maybe you can read it out. I can't see it from here, but then if there are questions, I'd like to just give me the questions, and then I can respond to them very quickly before I get running.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. We really enjoyed that. So, you mentioned a lot of things that have resonated with me, and I'm sure it has resonated with so many other people. Especially the one where you said that we shouldn't always ask for people to mentor us, but we should, add value in whatever way we can. And I'm sure that, especially when you spoke about volunteering, I, for one, can say I have a lot of experience in that. People don't usually just, mentor you, but when you ask them to, okay, you can ask for a chance or an opportunity to volunteer in the organization, and then they can give you that chance of being mentored. So thank you so much for your speech. Please, I would like to ask, does anyone have any question for our speaker, for Mr. Raymond Okani? Please, if you have any questions, just type it in the chat box below while we go on. So, Mr. Raymond, what I would like to ask you is, I am someone who really, really enjoys traveling. I haven't traveled yet, but I can say, okay, in Nigeria, I've traveled to some of the states, but I want to travel to, I have the plans to travel across Nigeria, across Africa, and definitely abroad. So I would like to say, in each of those countries that you have gone to, this I know you've gone to Rwanda, Burundi, and some of those other countries. What has been your experience? And I'm also the country that you are in right now, Cyprus. Is a country that I'm really interested in. I understand that it's kind of close to Greece, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and that is the country I really, really am interested in. So, how has been your experience, and how does it relate to the work that you have been doing in Youth Spark?
Well, thank you so much for asking that. So the beautiful thing again about traveling is that you get to really amplify your mindsets, because for every movement you make, it's like a call for you learn about that people's culture and language. Like right now, I'm adding to a language. I'm learning Turkish, and I'm doing pretty well. Trying to learn that language before I get onto another thing. I also forgot to say something again. It took me 14 years to get into the university. So traveling is one of the weapons that I use to stay above the pack, to stay afloat, and to compete at a very high level. And again, because I already had a dream, I had something I was doing, I had a platform what I was already working from, from my local community. I built it to the African level, and now I am very far away from Africa. It is also an opportunity to expand that. So we're looking forward to launching a global Youth Spark global community here in Cyprus, and a lot of people are really looking forward to that, especially people that have been way part of our community, and they get to see the things we do and all that. And yeah, it's something anybody can do. And for you that say you like traveling and you're looking forward to that, trust me, it's really not a difficult thing. It starts with taking the first step. I remember in 2017, before I made my very first travel in 2017, I didn't have, in fact, it was to try. There are some countries that they said I needed to try, especially Ghana, that I needed only my ID card or voter's card, whatever, just to travel. I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to travel in a way that, you are well recognized without any question. And I had to suffer. I write my stories and I tell people that 2016, 2017 were the lowest point of my life. I was depressed. I was frustrated. I thought about committing suicide because I lost everything. I lost everything. But I knew that from that point, excuses doesn't matter. Nobody cares about your excuse. Nobody cares about why you fail. You must be willing to get yourself up and succeed. And so the first thing I did was to go save money. You know what it means to go and save money from your lowest point? I abandoned everything that I was doing. At the point I was an addict of Coca-Cola. I drink Coca-Cola a lot. I had to stop drinking Coca-Cola, start saving money, and I got a passport. But what happened when I got the passport? That's what people don't know. Once you save money to get that passport, what happens is that there becomes this craving to use that passport. And what happens is that you start thinking about using it. And when you start thinking about using it, you start attracting opportunities that will make you to use it. Until you get a passport, you trust me, nobody will want to invite you. Nobody will tell you about anything happening in another country. But you need to have it, and suddenly opportunity to start opening up. And that's actually where it gets to go. Yeah.
That's true. Thank you so much. Okay, so I have just one more question. I've been speaking a lot about getting that passport, but I want to ask, okay, for Nigerian students now that I won't say, as students, we really, I don't know, money really, I don't know how to put it. It's sometimes hard to come by for Nigerians, especially since they're saving up for materials and all of those things, and it can be really frustrating at times. So, okay, if a person wants to begin before getting that international passport, how can a person really save, or how will I say, or plan towards traveling at least through Nigeria, around Nigeria?
These points that I just made right now are very fantastic points. All the things that I said right now. But then, if you want to do that around Nigeria, like I said, get into the right association. When you get into the right association, try and find ways to build value into those associations. When you volunteer, you can volunteer for a program that is happening in another city, in another state, in another town, in the neighboring street, or whatever, or even in another church, whatever it means to you. But that's one of the ways to start making that move, right? Find a way where you can get into the right association that will tell you about programs that are happening in different places where you can go to, and secondly, be willing to volunteer in those places. And that might just be the very first way of getting into that space. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raymond. Thank you so much. Everyone, I believe you have gained a lot of insight into how you can, travel the world, how you can have that actual global dominance that you're looking for, that you want to get in your career, in your academics. So we'll be going on now into the next speaker. If you still have questions for Mr. Raymond, please send it into the chat box. We'll still attend to your questions. Thank you.
EJ as a woman of many expressions. She is a singer, trainer, sound engineer, podcaster, and virtual events planner and moderator. She is an audiobook which works from notes. There was Amazon best-selling book, The Productivity Checklist. Amaka Aziz, My Sister's Bestie, Adewale Richards, in supporting audiobook creators, narrators, and podcasters by creating contents and courses that help them thrive in their crafts, as well as providing support via a closed community. Summit, an initiative with the objective to awaken the young generation, ages 18 to 25, a desire to be a better version of themselves that is being fit for their purpose and has reached Africa, Europe, and Asia, spanning several countries across these continents. Age in her podcast, The Afrocentric Podcast, that speaks to self-improvement and self-development, helping people find their voices, tell their stories, and spread the message of hope. She is an inspiration to many across the globe. Let's welcome the energetic EJ.
Okay, hello, can you hear me, guys? Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? I hope you can. Please let me see in the comment section if you can hear me. Is there anybody here to confirm that they can hear me? I literally just had to change my. All right, well done. Thank you so much, Israel. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to share today. Thank you, Ewa, Coach Ewa. Thank you for the opportunity to be here to share today as I speak on the topic for what's that topic again? Leveraging your personality, right? For career growth. Um, your personality and skills. There we go. Okay, thank you so much. And Upani did an amazing work. I've been here since it's before you started, and it's been a fantastic session. Thank you for sharing those 8 things. I learned a lot from it, and I'm also going to, adjust in some of the things that in some of the ways that I'm showing up. I know I'm already showing. So thank you so much for sharing. Yes, travel in style because you are involved in the whole journey. And so you get to learn by experience. And that's why travel is interesting. And yeah, I haven't traveled in a while now. I look forward to when I'm going to start traveling again. So once again, thank you for the organizers of this event. I'm really hoping that in the next couple of minutes, about 25 minutes is what I have, I guess, and I'm going to be able to share with you on leveraging your personality and skills for career growth. Okay, now, excuse me, the style I want to use today is I'm not just going to be here to just boom, 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 drop things on you. But basically, I just want to incite you. If you're going to watch, if you're here live now or you're going to watch this later on, I want to incite you. I want you to think about the things I'm going to share so that you can go after this session to actually go and take action on it. Don't just listen to what I have to say. You go and search. So basically, what I'm doing with this presentation today is just like pointing to you that this are places you should go to if you want to learn more about leveraging your personality and skills for career growth. I'm made to understand that, that an average person that this program was created for are young people, between the ages of 20 and 25 thereabout. That means you're either still in the university or you are freshly graduated or you're just your way into the university. And this is the best time. Well, maybe the best time was about 5 years ago when you were still in secondary school, but this is the next best time to understand what it means or what your personality means, to understand what skills are and what skills you would need for you to grow in your career. Okay, so what I'm going to be sharing with you is just definition of these terms in this topic, and then bring it together for you and then show you the way to go and say, okay, you now go do the work. Because at the end of the day, the best way that we learn is when we are involved in the process. If I just tell you, do this, do this, do this, do this, you might not understand it. But if I tell you, look, this is exactly what you need to do, this is exactly what you need to do, you might not understand it until you actually go and do it yourself. Okay, so today I'm just pointing you in the direction. So the style I'm going to use is just definitions of terms and then bringing it together so that you can understand the whole concept and you can apply it to you specifically, as the case may be. All right, so please let's move on to the next slide. Now, I'll start with what is leverage. What is leverage? Leverage is defined as, the ability to use something to maximum advantage, right? Even look at the picture that is here. So this guy is leveraging his position on this mountaintop to have an aerial view of where he is right now. to have like a 360 view or a higher view of where he is right now. So he's leveraging his position. So he's maximizing that advantage. So if this dude now was a let's say a photographer or a videographer, like this is an opportunity to have a mad ass shot because of the position that it is. So leveraging is when you maximize something to the advantage, right? And maximize, to maximize advantage, to use something to the maximum advantage, to the best, of your knowledge that thing can be used. All right, next slide. Now that you know that leverage is using something to the best of your ability, now let's move on to personality. What is personality? According to American Psychologists Association, APA, they define personality as it refers to individual difference in characteristics, pattern of thinking, feeling, and behaving. So the way that each of us think, feel, and behave differs from one person to another, from one family member to another family member, and sometimes from one people to another people. But most times it's actually individual. It's individual, it's not a corporate thing. There are iotas of genetics in it, but most times we are all uniquely compositioned in our personality. It is the study of personality focuses. So the study of personality focuses on two broad areas. One is understanding individual differences in particular personality characteristics, such as sociability or irritability. So that means that this is what personality is. So people who actually look at how to understand personalities, so maybe some psychologists, to understand the way people think. Why do they think this way? Why do they act this way? And then there are a lot of research that goes into it to say, okay, if you're acting, thinking, behaving this way, feeling this way, then we can categorize you under this type of personality, right? So we have established now leverage is you maximizing the use of something. Personality is the difference, is the different characteristics that you have as a person, especially as it concerns the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you behave. Next slide, please. And now let's just dive into that personality a little deeper, because the topic says we want to leverage our personality. So that's the tool we are using here. We're using our personality. We are maximizing our personality. Why? For career growth. So, two things we want to maximize in this topic. We want to maximize our personality and our skill. So, two things, okay? So, you should expect that you're going to see the definition of skills. What are skills? But now let's zoom in a little bit into personality, because the personality is the first point. If you get it, if you understand it, if you have an overview of your kind of personality, then it helps you to go for the right skills. And when you go for the right skills, it is inevitable that you will keep experiencing career growth, because that means you will study the right course. You will go to school for the right reasons. You will pick up the right skills. Your eyes will be out to see, okay, what's the skill for this time and season? And you're able to plug into it, and that will give you that leverage that you need in your career. Okay. I hope you understand where I'm going now. So let us look into personality. So there are personality traits and there are personality types. So these are the personality traits. So the traits are things that makes up the component of a personality type. So there are these are indicators of personalities, and research at Northwestern McCormick School of Engineering data was captured from 1.5 million participants, and so you can say this data can be trusted. Okay, based on these traits, whether you are an open person, or you are agreeable, or you are extroversion, or you are neuroticism, or you're neurotic, right, or you're contentious. Based on these traits, they now said, after this, research, that there are 4 types of personality. And so you need to know which of these 4 types are you. Okay? Are you with me? I hope you are. Now let's move on to the next slide. Right. So the traits, some of these theories, the trait theories, this trait that we just finished talking about, the things that makes that composites or that makes up the personality types. Your trait theories tend to view personality as the result of internal characteristics that are genetically based, and these include agreeable. You remember you mentioned some there, but there is an extensive list here to even expand on the traits some more. Agreeable, that is, you care about others, you feel empathy, you enjoy helping others. If you have the trait of conscientiousness, you have a high level of thoughtfulness, you have good impulse control, you have goal directed behavior, like you are sharp focused. Okay, if you have a tendency or a trait that you're eager to please, it means you are accommodating, you are passive, and you conform. That is, if they say this is the way, you're like, that's what they say is the way, or let's do it. Okay? You're accommodating, you are passive, you're not active. So you let things come to you, you don't go for things. That's, you are eager to please. You're eager to please your people, you're eager to please your friends, you're eager to please your parents, you're eager to please everyone around you, probably except you. Another trait is extraversion. Okay, you are excitability, you are sociable like me. Okay, you are talkative, you are assertive, and you have an high amount of emotional expression or expressiveness, so you can express yourself. So when you are angry, everybody knows you're angry. When you are sad, everybody knows you're sad. And when you are happy, like, the world knows that you are happy. Okay, so if you have that extraversion trait of you, the percentage of that can help, the psychologists classify you as, say, you are under this type of personality type. Okay, then introversion, you are quiet, you are reserved. Then neuroticism is experience stress. You experience stress, you are dramatic, you have a dramatic shift of mood. I'm going to come there, because the beautiful thing about personalities and us as humans is the fact that we are evolving beings. I remembered years ago when I was really, really young, I was this neuroticism. Oh, that was me. Like, everybody knew. Once it happens, or once I'm in that mood, they already know, like, leave her alone, leave her alone. Akokoro has come. Leave her, just let her be, because I will be angry at everybody for no reason, right? So that's a trait. It's, you experience stress, you are dramatic, you have a dramatic shift in mood, you feel anxious, you're worried about different things, you get upset easily, you struggle to bounce back after stressful event. I don't know. I hope if this is ringing a bell, you better pay attention now. And lastly is openness. You're very creative. You open and you try new things. You focus on tackling new challenges. Oh my God, this is where I'm at now. Like, I'm open. See, bring it on. What's going on there? Let's go and do it. What kind of food are they eating there? Oh, yeah, bring it. Let's eat it. What's the worst that what's the worst that will happen? Right? I'm so open now. I want to explore, right? And like I said, it's just a beautiful thing about personalities, right? But I'm showing you this just in case you're not aware of it. And for most, African, young people, we are not that big on awareness. And so I thought it is important that you understand what personality is, what skills are, so that you can have an idea and you can now go in and sit down on your own and start to make the findings, start to excavate and start to find out what you are really made of. So that with that knowledge, you are able to make informed decision. Next slide, please. I hope I'm not too fast. I hope you can hear me clearly. Now we come to the personality types. Now we've talked about the personality traits. We've talked about, the theories behind the personality traits. Now, based on those traits, these are the 4 personality types there are. Average, you're either an average person, or you are reserved, or you are a role model, or you are self-centered. You're either average, like, please, I can't keep myself. Hey, I can't keep myself. Oh, allow me to flex. Hey, I can't keep myself. Oh, this life. You're average. Whatever comes my way, I'll take it like that, right? You're either average or you're reserved. Like, what's going on here? You don't talk much, but you pay attention. You are very observant. Oh, you're a role model. Like, whether you like it or yes, everywhere you enter, you just get into that position of leadership somehow, no matter whether you prepare for it or not, whether you plan for it or not, whether you're expecting it or not, it just happens. You enter a place, and in a short while, everybody's looking up to you to say, please lead us. Please tell us what to do. Please advise us. Please, if that is you, don't run away from it. Try and understand what are the other characteristics that comes with this type of personality, because it will help you. And then the last one is you're self-centered. This one's your ego is like shoulder pad, is like this, right? Everywhere you enter, you want to show yourself. You're there. It's all about you, me, everywhere, right? It's a personality type. Okay. Now let's move on. Now, part of your personality type is your temperament, and I thought I needed to plug this in because the more you know, the more you understand about your personality, the better for you. All right, so your temperament in psychology is an aspect of personality which we are looking at, concerned with your emotional disposition and reaction and their speed and intensity. So the term often is used to refer to the prevailing mood or mood pattern of a person. This is from Encyclopedia Britannica. Okay. And these are the 4 general types of temperament. You belong to one, or you have an expression of mixed. For some, you actually have a mix of all 4, but then the percentage of one is higher, which is your dominant temperament. Okay. Sanguine, you're optimistic, you're social, you're the life of the party. Hello, I'm a sanguine here. Choleric, you're short-tempered, you're irritable, like things irritate you easily, like you don't have time for rubbish. Okay. Melancholy, you are analytical and quiet, so you pay attention, you observe, you don't talk much, but when you talk like this, boom, the words come heavy, right? You're phlegmatic, you're very relaxed, you are peaceful, you don't want to holla, you can't stress your life at all, you don't even want any issue. You're just okay with where you are, like, please, I don't want trouble, I don't need drama in my life. Okay, so you fall into one of these 4, but you have a trait of some in you, so it's like mixed, but there is one that is on the higher percentage, which is your major temperament. Next slide, please. And so this adds up to your personality type. Okay, so I'm pointing out these things that you need to go and sit down with and understand. And at this point, I'm going to plug it in here that for you to understand your personality type, you have to take several personality tests, right? To see, because when you take, what it does for you is when you take all this personality tests, you begin to see the things that show up the more. And so the one that has the highest score, you will know, okay, they are right. And now that you know, what can you do about it? What do you want to do about it? So these are some recommended personality tests that you should take. DISC assessment, that is beautiful. I love it because it breaks down whether you are, I just forgot all the discipline, inspiring, I've forgotten the me. I don't even know why I didn't check that, right? So yes, you will. Well, I think I can either copy it and drop in the comments, or I can leave the slide for him and then he can get it across to you, right? So you can take the DISC assessment test. You can take the sustained personality test. Another amazing test is free online. You can go for this test online at least to start. And then you can take the archetype test as well. And then the high 5 test. The high 5 test shows you your five strongest, strengths. It shows you your 5 strongest strengths. Okay. Yeah. So these are recommended for you to go and do this test for you to understand your personality. All right. Next slide, please. Now, we now move to skills. Now I've talked about leverage. Now you know that leverage is you maximizing a thing to the highest level. So it gives you a vantage point. And we're talking about leveraging your personality and skills for career growth. We are leveraging standing on top of your personality skill, or standing from the vantage point of understanding your personality type and understanding your skill, the skill that you are able to excel at. Standing on those two leveraging on those two factors for career growth. Okay. So, what are skills? Skills are the expertise or talent needed in order to do a job or a task. So, skills really are not gifts, they are things that anybody can learn. You don't have to like them, you don't have to be passionate about them. But if you need them to grow, if you need them, sorry, excuse me. Um, but if you need them to get a job done, then you get them done, right? You learn those skills to get them done. You don't necessarily have to be passionate about it. You don't have to be passionate, you need it. So it's like one of the skills that we all need. Now let me say two very important skills we all need, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, whether you're passionate about it or not, is sales and communication. You need to be able to communicate, you need to be able to sell. Because selling yourself as a person, selling your brand, selling products and services, right? And then in selling is communication. You need to be able to know, communicate what you have here to the other person so that they can understand and decode it. Okay. So, two skills that we need to learn. So, your skills are the expertise or talent needed in order to do a job or task. I'm so sorry about my light. It just keeps going off. I don't know why. Okay. Now, I'll just go through some categories so that you can understand what skills are or have an idea, where you are in the level of. These are just little examples. They're inexhaustive, but these are little. So leadership skills, decision making. So not everybody, we don't all like to make decisions, even with ourselves. Like you don't want to decide what to eat tomorrow. You don't want to decide what to wear. You don't want to decide whether to go out or not. But we need it. You need to make decisions, right? So this under leadership skills, decision making, conflict resolution, coaching, problem solving. Under organizational skills, coordinating, multitasking, project management, strategic planning. With this type of skills in an organization, you are scaling. Yeah. Team building skills. If you're working with a team, you need to understand how to collaborate. You need to understand how to communicate. You need to be able to listen actively. Analytical skills. You need to have critical thinking abilities. You need to be able to analyze data when you see it. You need to be able to research. If you are in a place or place, where analytic skills are needed, those are some of the skills that you are going to need. All right, next slide, please. More skills here for you. All right, life skills: driving, parenting, studying, washing, and house chores. Yes, it's a skill. Sweeping and cleaning the house, arranging the house, dusting is a skill. It is. You don't necessarily have to like it, but you need to have it to be able to make your surrounding clean. All right. Personal life skills, common sense. They say it's not common, but it's a skill that you need to have. Curiosity. You need to be able to be curious to know, okay, what's going on around town? What's happening here? Right? Initiative. You need to be able to take initiatives, right? Um, I am so sorry about this lighting thing. Stress management. Those are personal life skills. Under student skills, if most of you here are students, you need to be accountable. Accountable to yourself, accountable to your lecturers, accountable to the other students, accountable to your parents, right? Imagination. You need to be able to think outside of the box. You need to be able to question. A lot of us are afraid of asking questions. And I kid you not, there are no stupid questions. You see where you feel like, oh, let me not go and ask one more time now to look like you don't know, because there are like 15 other people in that same room with you. In the room of 50 people, there are 15 other people that have the same question but are afraid of asking it. So even when they laugh at you when you ask your stupid question, they actually gain because they're like, oh, thank God somebody asked. So never be afraid of asking questions, okay? And that's a skill. Asking, questioning. Time management. Who else should have time management skills if not students, if not young people? Because before you know it, you're spending 1 hour, 5 hours on social media when you have other tasks to do. So we need to be able to understand how to manage our time. Like seriously, 24 hours is no longer enough. There's so much to do. Okay. Writing. Like, even if you don't want to speak, at least you will communicate somehow. You will text, you will make posts. Don't come and make a post on social media that it will be causing purge for people that are reading it because of all the grammatical errors. So as a student, one of the skills that you have to have is writing. You need to up your writing game. Get Grammarly on your computer and on your phone so that it can help you at least correct the basic things like, punctuation, spellings, and things like that. All right. Sports skills. If you have to be in a sports team, you have to concentrate. You have to be disciplined enough to concentrate, to practice, right? Dealing with pressure. No skills person, no sports person is very weak. No pressure, right? Precision. Imagine somebody that wants to throw a javelin. If you are not precise, before you go and throw it, that means be people that are sitting and watching and cheering you up, right? Teamwork. In a game of football or basketball, you can't do it alone. You can't keep scoring only you. You need your team by your side, right? So those are some of the skills. So now we understand, right? So regardless of which part of this you fall into, you know now that these are skills, and skills are the expertise or talents needed in order to do a job or a task. Next slide, please. Now we come to what is career. Remember, our topic again is leveraging your personality and your skills for career growth. Now we know what leverage is. We know what personality is. We know what skills are. Now, what is career? Your career is an occupation undertaken for a significant period of a person's life and with opportunities for progress. Emphasis on opportunities for progress. If you are in a job that does not give you an opportunity to grow, that cannot be a career. You cannot grow a career from there. You cannot grow a career from such a job. So it's probably just for the meantime, for passing time. But if you are in the kind of job that gives you an opportunity to grow, that means maybe you get in at a level. So, different examples of career: lawyer, law, accountancy, medicine, right? So if you study medicine, for example, you will start as a residence, as an assistant doctor or nurse or something, and you keep growing and growing and growing until you become maybe a specialist, or even if you become a generalist, there is that opportunity for you to keep growing. So it's either you're writing some sort of exams that gives you a higher level, that takes you to a higher level. So over the years, you see that, okay, you started from this point in this career, and now in 20 years, you are now this person in the same line of work, but you've grown from what you were, not just physically, but even in the job. Maybe you started as, so let's say banking and finance, for example. Um, you could start off. So I used to be a tea girl in the bank, and from tea girl, at some point, I started to, after I finished serving the tea in the mornings, that's all. There's nothing else to do. But because it's Nigeria, and they will not allow you live in peace. You have to wait till everybody closes, right? And it was like, gosh, I'm done with my work. By the staff opens around 7 a.m. and the bank opens for business at 8 a.m. So between 6, actually 5:30 and 7:30, my job is done, because at 7:30 to 8, I should have served everybody their tea, their breakfast if they want, and then I should be clearing out by 7:45, so that by the time the bank opens to customers, everything is done. The staff has had their breakfast, they've had their tea, and I've cleared everything out. Go wash my cups, wash everything I'm using, and that's it for the day. And that's it. Ideally, I should leave and then go get something else to do. But because it's Nigeria, they won't allow that. So we'll be there. And over the time, I'm like, I can't just be sitting here every day just like this. So I started to assist the customer care agency right there. So I'll go there once I'm done with my stuff. I'll go and sit with the customer care agents. And at the customer care desk, they open account for people, they find out, and then they file. They file those accounts. And so that's what I would do. And I found joy in that. It was so it was so good, because in the bank I worked for, I actually was transferred from different branches. So I worked in at least 2 or 3 branches of that bank before I left that job, right? And so at some point, it got so good that customers actually thought I was a bank teller. Because I would sit there and just help with account opening, create the account name, so I know the numbers, file it, put the file, take it to the filing office and all of those things. It was beautiful then, right? So that's an opportunity. So, and I had, other, workers like cleaners in the same company, and some of them who their flair was banking and finance, they started as cleaners, and then from there they started to do, maybe help here and there. They found out, okay, what do they need? Okay, they need this and this to get into the teller, to be a bank teller. Actually, even the vault room, just to be a counter, cash counter. They entered. From there, from cash counting, they start to increase, they start to go. That is a career, because it gives you room for you to grow. Some people started as tea boys, tea girls. Some people started as cleaner, and today they are branch managers. It gives you an opportunity to grow. Okay, so that's what a career is. So now, what are we now saying? Let me bring it all together as I close this session. Is that a message for me? Let me bring it all together as I close this session, right? That now how do you then leverage your personality and skills for career growth? Meaning that you now know upon this personality, yeah, you're not standing because of your knowledge of this personality, and you know who you are. You understand, okay, based on who you are. So if you are one of maybe like a sanguine, so you're a very expressive person, it will cramp your style to go and study a skill that you need to use behind the scene. Not because there's anything wrong with being behind the scene, but because your natural wiring is that you want to be out there. So it is only wise for you to go for courses that will actually make you bloom in your personality, with your personality. So that means it will help you. So if you are a sanguine and you are already a natural talkative, how about you just take up a skill in speaking? Because it's already a natural phenomenon for you. It's already a natural skill for you. You already talk. But it's not about just talking. Now you want to talk with sense. Now you want to talk with articulation. Now you want to make your thoughts together so that it makes sense. When people listen to you, they're like, right? You won't do that just because you're a talkative. Yeah, there are people that can talk, and every time they open their mouth to talk, you are just like, please, can somebody tell this person to shut the up? Like, just shut up, just keep quiet and let us rest, right? But that's a skill. And you see that a lot of our parents didn't know these things. And that's why instead of them now helping and guiding us to learn or to go for the skill that actually matches our personality, they shut us down. You see young children when they were younger, like, hey, the kids keep talking every time there's a visitor. Ah, uncle, see what I drew. I drew this. I drew that. Ah, uncle, I wrote a composition. Come and read it. This child is probably a sanguine and is very expressive. But rather than say, oh, and spot it as parents, they didn't know better anyways. But rather than spot it as parents, they're like, come on, shut up. Can't you keep quiet? Can't you see that we have visitors? Or yeah, go inside your room. Or yeah, go and do this. Or yeah, shut up. And then they do that over and over and over and over again until this child loses their voice, loses their confidence, and then enters into a shell. And they now start to think that they are introverted. But meanwhile, no, that was not their original makeup. And so this is where people start to get conflicted. And such people will grow into young people that you would see people doing the things that deep down you can do. And you'll be like, you will just be irritated for no reason. That's how hating comes, oh. You will be irritated for no reason from inside, from within, but you can't explain why. It is because at some point you've been shut down from what your wiring is, and you've accepted an identity or a personality that is not yours. And so when you see what should be yours, you can resonate with it, but you cannot be it at the moment. And so you hate at it. So, how then do you leverage your personality and skills for your career growth as I round this off? Final slide, please. This is the key. And this is where I will leave you. I'm not here to give you 5 point, 10 point. I'm here to tell you what to do. You go and do it, because I cannot do it for you. No matter how brilliant my session is, I cannot be aware for you. I cannot be aware for you to know your personality. You have to go do the searching. So for me, I already know that I'm sanguine. I'm this lively person from when I was a child. I knew I could not express what it was, but I knew that I would be on TV someday. I knew that I would speak to large crowds, right? And it played out a bit, while I was growing up. So at a very young age, I started leading in church. I could stay in front of thousands of people, ministering, singing, dancing, whatever it is, I'm there, right? So I knew I would be like center of attraction, right? But what I did not know as well was that I had this much energy, right? And most people would look at me and say, "You are too much. Calm down. What's wrong with you?" Blah, 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 right? And so because of that, I started to shape shift. If I'm in this setting and it's like majority of people are very calm, you better be calm before they will say your own is too much, right? I started to shape shift and not be or show up with my authentic self. And because of that, it became and it grew into people pleasing. So you want to please people. And so you will do things at your own detriment, against your own will, against your own wish, just to please people, right? Until something happened in 2020, I lost a dear relationship, and that was a wake up call for me to say, "Girl, you can't keep doing this, because if you keep doing that, you keep hurting people, because hurting people hurts people." And so I had to come into my own. I had to come into myself. I had to understand and come into myself to know what I am wired for. What am I made for? How am I wired? And all of these personality tests that I described or that I prescribed earlier on are some of the things that helped me. Plus that was the fact that I started to go into coaching communities. So I started to work with coaches. I started to see other people. I started to, expand my knowledge about, being and about understanding the power that I carry. And that was when in the midst of that growth, in the midst of that, evolving, was when I now came to terms with it that this thing that everybody is shouting that you are too much, is one of my superpowers actually. It's one of my superpowers. And the moment I embraced it and said, "No, this energy that I have, this energy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This energy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away." So I'm like, you know what? If you can't deal with my energy, it means that we're not supposed to be together. You can't stand me, I can't stand you, and that's okay. We are not enemies, but we're not supposed to be together. And the moment I came into that awareness and I accepted it, God, it changed everything for me. It changed everything for me because I show up with my energy anywhere I go. And that's how come energetic EJ, right? That's how come energetic EJ. And so every time I appear now, I will meet people that I've not met before. And in few minutes, they're already acknowledging the energy. Like, wow, I love your vibe. I love your energy. Yes, that's the power of awareness. Otherwise, if you're not aware, if you don't know, you're going to call it what it's not. And what you call it, people will even help you. People will help you add to it and expand what is not. Okay, so why not find out what it is so that you can leverage it and get the skills that are matching with your personality, and then growth is inevitable. Really, it's just a matter of time. All right. What is awareness? It's a knowledge or perception of a situation of facts. So this situation, this perception is your personality, understanding your personality type and knowing it. And if for any reason you fall into a personality type that you don't like, boy, girl, ma'am, sir, you have the power to change it. That is the beautiful thing about being a human being. You are not a tree. You have a mind, you have a power, you have a will. So you can change, you can evolve, you can choose how you want to show up in your personality. Yes, there is the wiring there, but you can adapt. You can say, "No, I don't like this thing about me." Imagine if your personality is one of selfishness. You understand it and say, "Okay, but I don't want to be a selfish person." So it will cost you a lot of work. And at that point, it will feel like a skill. So you will learn generosity as a skill. You will learn selflessness as a skill. Remember, a skill is not your wiring, but it is a talent. it is something that is needed for you to carry a task, to carry out a task, or to do a job. So you begin to learn those extra things as a skill, and then to balance up your personality type. Okay. The second definition says concerns about and well informed interest in a particular situation or development. So it's like you constantly try it out. If you find out your kind of personality and you are not happy with the category you fall into, give yourself time, say 3 months, practice or pick one thing, pick one trait of the other personality that you like, and practice it like a skill. Learn it like a skill. Then go back and take the personality test again. You will be amazed at the change in the results. And that's the power that we carry as humans. Okay. So basically, how do you leverage your personality and your skill for your career growth? You need to be aware of your personality and know the type of skills that match that personality, so that then you are able to have your power. You're always in the center. You're always, you know, carrying that power, because there is an alignment between your personality and the skills that you're studying, and you can only get better. You can only grow on that journey. And I hope that with this few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that being aware of who you are, your personality, your makeup, it will actually help you in choosing the right skills, in choosing the right kind of work. Hey, I have one more slide. Come on. In choosing the right personality, and then, last slide, just at least, yeah, just reminding you again of the personality test. And finally, yes, this is me. Thank you for having me here. You can connect with me by visiting my website, www.energeticej.com, or you can connect with me on WhatsApp by going to bit.ly/connect with energetic EJ, and let's connect. And you can follow me on Instagram as well at energetic EJ _. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I hope that I have added value to you today.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Everyone, say thank you to Energetic EJ. That was powerful. In fact, I think I would say my favorite part was when she started singing. But that was really, really nice. Thank you so much, ma'am, for letting us have the opportunity to hear your lovely voice. Aside that, I really learned also how to present, how to speak, and I know that is something that you teach youths of nowadays. Thank you so much, ma'am. Your words, everything has been noted down, honestly. But I would just like to ask a question, one question. How can a person truly discover his or her personality trait aside online personality test? Like you explained about how you, especially after a person has been shut down, like you explained in 2020 before you got your personality self back. So how can a person get that aside online test?
Okay, so because the online test has actually, a lot of work has gone into it, a lot of research has gone into it. It makes it easier. It's like a starting point. So awareness itself is you also paying attention to yourself, and they're always asking yourself, when you act in a way, why do I act the way I act? So another beautiful book that you can get for that is Why We Act the Way We Act by Tim Laye. Yes, it's him. Yeah, Tim Laye. Yes, that's an amazing book. It talks about the temperaments, the four temperaments. But like, yes, so you need to just be aware. But at the end of the day, even if you are aware that, okay, this is, you might not understand why you do the things you do, and that's why you go in search of knowledge. For people who have done a lot of research based on millions of people, right? So it's a good starting point for you to now be aware, because when you take those tests, it helps you see, you just, first time you take, you be like, wow. I literally just sent 16 personality tests to my son like last month or thereabouts. And he came back like, Mom, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun doing this test. I'm like, and funny enough, we are both in the same class of personality. So that makes it easier for us now to communicate better, because I know, okay, he's an entertainer. I'm an entertainer. Okay, guy, what can we do? What do we need to
Comment.
do? So we need, you understand. So it helps you. It's a starting point, but it's a long time, a long life journey, right? And that's why I said, as humans we evolve. So as you get that basic understanding first, because it's just a body of research, and it helps you really, because otherwise, if you stand from where you are, you actually don't even know what type of personalities they are. Do you get? So so you can't compare with anything. But if you go for those tests, it helps you. And like I said, these ones that I recommended, they are free, but they are the paid ones. And those paid ones are even more detailed and has more precision. Do you understand? So, but when you go for the free one first, it helps you understand. And then as you grow, you can invest more and know yourself more. And it helps you become just the best version of yourself every time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. You're really
Awesome.
high energetic. I wish I was this energetic. Okay. And I look forward to watching and listening to your podcast, the Afrocentric podcast. I really
Absolutely, absolutely. You are going to be blessed.
I
Just check it out
recommend
on
to
YouTube.
everyone.
Amazing, amazing people that I've met. Gosh, it's just amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am. We are, in fact, we are blessed to have you on here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. So,
All
everyone,
right.
we are going into the next speaker. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned and listen to the next speaker. Thank you.
The Stephen helps brands within and outside Africa build digital assets, strategies, and marketing campaigns for peak profitability. This way, he lives out his passion to enable organizations maximize digital tools and platforms. Phil is one of the few Facebook certified digital marketing associates in West Africa. He is also a Facebook certified media buying professional, discovery commerce specialist, community manager, media planning professional, and lead trainer. He is a certified social media marketing strategist by HubSpot Academy, a Google certified digital marketer, a certified British project management professional, and Sweden certified business development service provider. Phil believes strongly that digital tools can help people and businesses become more productive and profitable. This is why, over the last 12 months, he has trained over 2,000 people on digital marketing, digital project creation, branding, and digital productivity. With over 6 years' experience under his belt, Phil has developed skills in expert digital marketing, leadership, web development, goal setting, financial management, project management, business growth, and technical consultation. He is an alumnus of digital entrepreneurship from the Facebook Nigeria sponsored Faith Foundation AEP program. He is also an alumnus of Entrepreneurship and Business Finance from Kaduna Business School, a beneficiary of the Facebook Developer Circle Scholarship and the Udacity Mobile Web Specialist Scholarship. Phil identifies with the 8th Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations to create decent work and economic growth. He is a project lead at Lifetime Moment International, an organization committed to leading and inspiring young people around the globe towards intentional living through its platform, The Winning Mindset. As the leader of the Winning Mindset team, Phil coordinates one of the fastest growing personal development platforms in northern Nigeria. In May 2020, Phil continued his growth journey as the beneficiary of the Harvard Business School online scholarship. Now, with a great applause, let's welcome Mr. Phil.
Okay, can you hear me? Just a quick confirmation. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, let me just wait for a quick confirmation. All right, so I can see yes, amazing, amazing, amazing. Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Hope you're doing great. Hope you're ready for this session. It has just been an amazing time. Special shout out to Mr. Alabi for putting this together, and also thank you for inviting me to speak to your people. This is what is called a platform. One thing I have discovered in my own life is that my growth came as a result of exposure to platforms and communities. All right. So my growth journey became accelerated the more I became exposed to platforms and opportunities, because platforms have people in them, and those people have resources, both resources in terms of experience, in terms of words, in terms of several other things. Those people have resources that are able to help me become better. So you're able to be a part of a platform and then get a resource that can literally change your life. So thank you, Israel, for putting this platform together. Thank you to the entire team for this particular Academic Excellence and Entrepreneurship Summit. Shout out to all of you. If you're live right now and you're ready for this session, just go ahead and type in the chat box, "I am ready." I can see Fumezike, I can see Oyebode, Joshua, I can see Junior. Hello, Junior. Great to have you here. I think I know Junior from somewhere. There's some names that are familiar to me. Shout out to you all. And thank you so much for being here. This is going to be a session that would move you to a level that you won't forget in a hurry. All right, so let's get right into it, because I have a really, really limited time. I'm supposed to end at 5:45, but then let's see how far I can go before I have to jump into my next appointment, right? But my topic for this evening is enhancing your digital skills for maximum productivity. Enhancing your digital skills for maximum productivity. Now, one thing I want you to know is that every single session that has been put together has been engineered towards making you better. So I was able to join in a part of Raymond's session, and then also for a good part of the energetic EJ session, really, really energetic session, right? I hope I'm able to match that energy. So that was a great session. Those sessions, each of them has elements inside of them, starting from you trying to learn more about your personality, okay, to you trying to know how best you can leverage travels, leverage going around the world, to build a brand for yourself, a brand that is actually able to introduce you before you come into the picture. These things are important, really, really important. And this session is a build-up of those things. So my session is about enhancing digital skills for maximum productivity. Enhancing digital skills for maximum productivity. So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing I need you to know, because I know I'm addressing, majorly students, and then, some other people that may watch the replay that may not be students, right? The first thing that is important to know is what I call the brevity of time. Brevity is a word that tries to explain how short something is, how limited, in short supply something can be. The brevity of time. There is an illusion that you have time. Listen to me. There's an illusion, there's a fake reality that there is so much time left, especially when you're a student. You feel that there's so much time to still do this, to still do that, to still get all these other things done. And then when you're done with all those things, then your life now begins. No, your life has already begun. That means every single day that passes by, that you either do or not do something, it is going to affect your future. There's something I say, right? There's something I say that every day you stay idle, you automatically disqualify yourself for something in the future. Do you hear me? Every day you stay idle, you automatically disqualify yourself for something in the future. And this is a simple explanation for this. When you go to a job website, right? For those of you that have started checking that out, I know some students don't really do that, but it's something you can start doing early. If you go to a job website, you see a job role and it says, "Oh, we're looking for, let's say, for example, digital marketers." I mean, digital marketing, right? So we're looking for digital marketers, but you need to have 3 years of experience. Now, if you had started digital marketing 3 years ago, you are qualified for that role. But because you said, let me wait till next year, the fact that you waited till the next year has automatically disqualified you from that role. It is not the role that disqualified you. It is something you did or did not do years back. Are you following? Every day you stay idle, including when you're a student. Don't think that okay, because you're a student now, it's free time, right? You're on extra time. Well, in a way. But every day you stay idle, you disqualify yourself from something in the future. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Now that you know that, let's go forward. So there's the brevity of time. Time is limited. There's this part of scriptures that says, teach us to number our days. Why? So we can apply our hearts onto wisdom. So it's just something that says that if you can know that your time is short, you will make wiser decisions. Have you not noticed that people that to an extent maybe have sadly enough a medical condition and there's a projection of a lifespan, what happens to them? What happens to them? People like that, you see that they start to prioritize things that actually matter. They start to prioritize family. They start to give to courses that really matter. They start to live life in a way that really, really is beneficial for them and for people around them. Why? Because there's that awareness that there's a lifespan, that there's a period of time left for them to do the things that they must do. A lack of an awareness that your time is limited makes you make decisions that can be considered foolish. So teach us to number our days so we can apply our hearts onto wisdom. Because if we are aware that our time is short, we'll make decisions that are considered wise. I'm starting with this because as a student, you may think that there's still time, but trust me, there is not. There's no time. There's some things that if I had known when I was a student, I would have been far, far, far better than I am right now. But I knew them after, and it's still great. No regrets, right? But you're knowing this things from now, thanks to people like Israel Abi for putting this together. Now, the second thing that is really important, before I dive straight into digital skills because of time, second thing that is really important is that this present day in the world right now, there is a demand for excellence. There is a huge demand for excellence. It is not negotiable. There's a benchmark. It's just like you being the best in a football match. Those of you that watch football, right? I know some of you watch the AFCON programs before our beloved country was disqualified, right? Those of you that watch football, have you seen cases where a particular team is playing so well, doing all the dribbles, having all the amazing moments on the pitch, and then the other team just manages to score one goal? Terrible team. Nothing is working for them. They're just falling on. They'll just take this one. If will fall, roll to the other side. They're playing rubbish. But then the other team just manages to score one goal and goes back to defense. No matter what happens, no matter all the skills, all the techniques, all the strategy, if the good team doesn't equalize, if that game ends with that one goal, who's going to win the match? Is it the team that was dribbling or the team that scored? The team that scored. Why? Because there's a benchmark. It has been set. There's a standard. And at this point in time, once you don't meet that standard, no matter your efforts, that's the sad part. Because it's not like you're not doing well. It's not like you're not making efforts. No, you'll be making efforts. You'll be dribbling. You'll be, going around the pitch. Excellent passes. But no matter the efforts, if you have not met the benchmark, if you have not met that benchmark, you cannot get the results that you want. And at this particular time of our lives, in this particular age, the benchmark is the benchmark of excellence. Excellence has become a benchmark. So if you go below that, it's almost impossible for you to be recognized for anything. Academics is one. Being excellent in academics is a very good first step. That's one. But every other thing needs to have that same excellence, including when you're thinking about digital skills. So you must have heard, I was able to binge watch on a part of Miracle's session. If you've not watched that, you can go back and check that out, because she mentioned some digital skills that are relevant, especially in this industrial revolution, right? You can go ahead and listen to that and try to research. So you take up one of those skills and you are learning and learning and learning, right? But you're not able to make any headway. Why? Because you've not met the benchmark of excellence. So how do you go from the point where you don't know anything about digital skills, okay? You don't know how to even learn. You don't know how to get the skills that you need, to a point where you're able to enhance your digital skills for maximum productivity. That's what I'll be talking about today. I'll be showing you the step-by-step way of going from even not knowing about a digital skill, right, to enhancing your digital skills for maximum productivity. All right. Now, the first step is what I just said, trying to research for the skill you want. Because digital skills to an extent are intertwined. It's difficult for you to become so great if you know just one. Like the only thing you know is one thing. It's great to be very good at one thing, but it's not great to know only one thing. So how do you go about this? First, you think about who you want to become. And one of the easiest way to think about it can be putting yourself in an organizational role. For example, you can say, I want to be a programmer in an organization. That means what do you need to do? You have to learn programming, right? You have to learn coding, front end, back end, and things like that. You can say you want to be a digital marketer in an organization, right? That would mean that you want to learn what digital marketing skills. You can say you want to be a content creator in an organization, right? That means you want to learn what content creation skills. So first of all, think about who you want to become. And you can think about this while you're a student. Think about who you want to become first. Now, when you know who you want to become, all right, so that you don't just go ahead and start learning left and right. No, you want to be a data analyst. That means you have to learn what data analysis is, data science. So who do you want to become? What role do you want to fill? And this is also an entrepreneurship summit, right? So even if you want to go into business, let's say you want to start with a fashion business, for example. As a fashion business owner, there are some things you need digitally that will help you. For example, marketing. So you're starting up a business as a CEO, but you know that for you to break through, you need to market your products. That means what do you need to learn? Marketing. It is a process I call identifying your gaps. So after you've chosen your skill, which is the first step, number one is what? Choose your skill. Choose your core skill. Remember I said when you choose your core skill, that's not the only thing you learn. You start from there, but you learn every other thing that is necessary for that core skill to succeed. I'm a growth marketing manager. I'm a growth marketing expert. I'm a digital marketer, right? But then digital marketing is not the only thing I know. For example, I'm speaking now. I'm able to communicate. Public speaking is a skill. So there are a number of skills that come together to give you the results that you need. Content creation is a skill. So choose your core skill and identify the skills that need to be learned around that. That's the first one. Now let me move a bit faster. Now the second thing you need to do for you to be productive with your digital skill is to establish structure. The second one is what? Establish structure. What do I mean by structure? Structure is what I call productive unit. Now, I learned the concept of productive units for the first time from my mentor. My mentor is Mr. Elisha Maman. Some of you may know him. If you don't know him, you can go ahead and check him out after this session on Instagram, Elisha Maman. He is literally the person that raised the version of me that you can see now. Very, very big blessing to be connected with him. Now, he told me about productive units for the first time. And productive units are simply the things that are able to give you a reward. The things you do, the buckets of things you do that are able to give you a reward. So digital marketing is a skill, but digital marketing may not be a productive unit. Digital marketing becomes a productive unit when you say, I am using digital marketing to sell a product, maybe a book or a course or a pen, for example. You're using digital marketing to sell something. Now, that activity, that e-commerce activity becomes a productive unit. You can also use digital marketing to speak. Speaking and getting paid is a productive unit. You can use digital marketing to have a job, for example. Having a job, that job you have as a digital marketer in an organization is a productive unit. So digital marketing is a skill, but you need to establish structure. You need to put structure to your skills. This is why many people are skillful and broke. Why? Because there's no structure. Structure is your productivity. How are you able to package your skill in a way that is able to give you profit? This is how you enhance it. Second thing rather, structure. All right, I need to move. The third thing that's really important is what I call a roadmap. Okay, a roadmap. Now, what is a roadmap? A roadmap is simply the series of activities that needs to happen to get you from where you are to the desired place you want to be. That's what your roadmap is. If you do not have a roadmap, there is a high danger of you just rigmaroling about. It's just like you are new in a place like Lagos, for example, and your phone goes off, so you don't have your maps with you. Okay, you know where you are right now. You know you just landed at the airport, or if you came by bus, you just landed at the bus station. You know where you're going to. You're going to let's say Sheraton Hotel, so you're going to a particular organization. You know where you are, know where you're going to, but you don't have a way of connecting those 2 points. What do you think will happen? Tell me in the chat box. What do you think will happen? You can start moving. People will say, oh, he has left the airport, he's on his way to his destination, and they are looking, but they don't know that you don't know how to get there. So you step out and people are saying, oh, this guy is making progress, but are you really making progress? Because you just start going through the roads. You go from Ikeja to Odba. If you're in Lagos, you may know these places. You go from there to, I don't really know Lagos that how much, I'm new here, right? You go from this place to the other place. You move around. It's possible you may still get to your destination, but after how long? Remember the brevity of time. After how long? How long would it take you to get to your destination? Why? You don't have a roadmap. A roadmap is simply a series of activities that takes you from your current position in your skill to the place where you want to be. So if, for example, your goal is to be the head of digital marketing in an organization, you can say, these are the skills I need to learn, number one. Number two, these are the certifications I need to have. Number three, these are the experiences I need to have. Like, you're able to have a roadmap from where you are to where you need to be. That way, you're not just aimlessly moving around. You're not just registering for any course you see. You're not just asking everybody to mentor you. You know where you're going, so you're able to look for people that are along that path. Are you getting value so far? Is this making sense to you? If it's making sense for you, go ahead and tell me in the chat box. Let me know that you're getting value. All right. Now, after the roadmap, I know I'm a bit fast, but that's because I have a pretty short time, right? After the roadmap, the next thing that you need is what is called upskilling. Upskilling. All right. Now, for upskilling, once you have your roadmap, one thing your roadmap exposes to you is that you do not yet have all you need. Are you following me? One thing that your roadmap exposes to you immediately is the fact that you do not yet have all you need. That means you may need extra fuel. Let me use the transportation example. Extra fuel. You may need to get into another bus. You may need to do something else. You may need more time because now there's traffic, right? Your roadmap exposes to you what you need next. So you need to upskill. Do not be comfortable with the version of your skill that pays you first. This is the issue that many people have. They are hungry until they get their first payment. They are hungry in the sense that they are passionate, they are learning, they are taking courses, they're going ahead to attend seminars, they're training themselves until they get their first payment. Once they start getting paid, that passion to learn begins to die down. Why? Because they have started earning a particular amount that seems like breakthrough for them. But is that really all? Can there be more? Really important. So do not be comfortable with the first version of your skill that pays you. Think of the next thing. What's the next thing in your roadmap? What's the next skill you need to get? What's the next certification? What's the next experience? What's the next landmark you need to break through? This is how you move. You upskill. Upskilling has an automatic consequence of an increase in finances. The more you become better, the more you can get paid better, provided you become better all round. Not being better in just your skill. Remember, I talked about it in the first point, right? Do not just identify your skill. Apart from your skill, there are other things that you need to get for your skill to be profitable to you. Okay? Now, upskilling is the next thing. Now, how do you upskill? You upskill by online courses. That's one way. I have a particular post on my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram at Fii Stephen, there's a place that I wrote about 5 free platforms to learn online and 5 paid platforms to learn online. So one can just put my handle there at Fii Stephen. So you can go there and check that out. Those are places you can get to learn from. I think that there's a post on how to learn from social media too. I won't be able to talk about those right now, but go ahead and check those out, all right? On my Instagram handle. Now, upskilling is super, super, super important. Now, the last point, and this is where I'm going to end for this evening. These things I've talked about are just they're condensed step-by-step ways that you get maximum productivity. The last point is what I call experience. Experience is super important. Many people become skillful and just want to, get paid because they're skillful. It just doesn't work like that. You have to seek for experiences. How do you seek for experiences? Number one, you can decide to volunteer to serve. Raymond talked about volunteering, really important. Volunteer to serve and volunteer strategically. Volunteer in either a platform that you believe in or a platform that is big. Two things. Let me explain that. So you're either going to volunteer in a platform that you believe in the sense that the platform may not be so big right now, but you believe in what they're doing. You believe in their vision. You can volunteer there. You can also volunteer in a platform that is already big so that you can use the name. All right. So those are two ways to volunteer, but you need to volunteer for you to get that experience. That's the first way. So volunteer and serve. Now, the second way is to actually go ahead and apply for opportunities, even if you're not yet fully qualified. All right. So even if you're not fully qualified, apply for as many opportunities as possible. Why? You need experience. Apply for internships as much as possible. Now, the third way to get experience is to attend there are several things. There are several internships, several boot camps that happen from time to time. All right. There's the HNG internship. There's the Zuri. There's Ingressive Good. A number of these things. Right. These are programs that come up, fellowships. All right. Apply for fellowships. These things give you experience and exposes you to a wide level of network. All right. So check for fellowships, check for internships, check for jobs that are around the skill that you're learning. Gain experience. Experience always gives you a way to talk confidently. I can speak confidently because the things I say I know about. These are things I've done. All right. I remember going from River State to Kaduna State in 2019. Was that 2019? So I went from Lagos State to Kaduna State for the very first time in 2016. And then what happened was that for a period of time when I went for my NYC, I did not know anything at all. I didn't know anybody around there. But then I was able to get connected to a place where I can serve. And I served with all my heart. And it is that service that has brought me to where I am. All right. I served my mentor, Mr. Elisha Marman. I was able to do as much as I could. I was able to upskill. He gave me opportunities. He gave me resources. He gave me his time. He gave me his advice. And it is because of those things he gave to me that I'm able to become the person that I am right now. So when I speak around the world, what I know is that there's a place I'm coming from and there's a place I'm going to. But these things came as a result of a system. And it is that same system I've given to you today. And I hope that when you apply all these things to a large extent, you will be able to have digital skills, but not just digital skills, but digital skills that are enhanced for the maximum level of productivity. There's something I always say as I come to an end, and that's the fact that growth will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. Growth will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. Trust me. If you decide to grow, it will cost you your time, to cost you your energy, to cost you money. You may need to buy data. You may need to do a lot of things. You may need to invest in courses. I'm about training some people on how to run ads profitably. The cost is going to be paid. Some of you may need to pay for that. That is a cost. It's obvious that it will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. So please decide to grow. Growth will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Israel. Thank you to the entire team. And at this point, I think I'll take any questions if there's any. But if there's none, I'll just go ahead and go for other things.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fii Stephen. In fact, you gave us a lot of value in so little time. I can't even believe how much I've gotten in the past few minutes. And I'm sure everyone too can say the same thing. Thank you so much, so much. Thank you. In fact, this is like the second opportunity that I've gotten to be in a meeting with you where you are the coach, and I can say that it has been lovely all the way. Especially your last quote, which you said, growth will cost you, but not growing will cost you more. Honestly, I actually used that to write an article once and I referenced it. It is a Lovely quote. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
coming on.
Awesome. Thank you.
If anyone has any question, please can you type it in the chat box while so that we don't keep Mr. Stephen too long. Um, really, I honestly don't have any question because you just gave us a load, a load of value in such little time. Thank you so much. I don't know if there's a question. Let me check the comment box. Um, oh, I don't think there's a question for now. So, so we don't keep you, sir. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming
All
on
right. Thank
here.
you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Israel, and well done to the entire team. During the rest of the program. Yeah. Bye.
You too. Bye, sir. All right, so everyone, that is a wrap up for today's session. A wrap up for the AES Summit. Thank you so much for everyone who has been watching from day one. It has been lovely with our six speakers, with every single one of them. If you couldn't watch on the first day, please go back and binge watch. And if you couldn't join in from the first session today, please go back and watch. And if you have any questions, you can connect with our speakers, reach out to them, tell them that you were a part of the AES summit and you have this question or you have this, but do not remember, do not ask them to mentor you. You can ask them for an opportunity to work with them, to volunteer with them. And who knows, you might be traveling around the world with Mr. Raymond or Mr. Stephen, or you can, get the opportunity to be as energetic EJ. Thank you all so much. It's been a pleasure to serve you. I'm Senami Uncle. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's I'm still recovering from the value overload. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm very sure you gain not one or two things. You gain a whole lot because I was also jotting and my jotter is full already. So it's not enough to come to a summit like this and listen. That's what energetic EJ told us. You have to listen, but beyond what you've heard is what you do with what you've heard that will make all the difference for you. So you've heard now, now go and implement. Go into the implementation phase. Become better, grow the skills. Mr. Fee has told us that growth will cost you, it will cost you something. Sometimes it might cost you sleep, it will cost you money, it might cost you inconvenience. You have to travel sometimes. So it will cost you something, but if you don't grow, it will cost you more. So thank you very much once again. It's a pleasure to host this summit and we look forward to subsequent edition of this summit. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.